Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap last night's game between the Seahawks and the Vikings. Go over yesterday's college hoops slate, look ahead to tonight's slate, NBA, NHL, NFL Week 15 guess the lines, go into a little bit about winter meetings and rumors, and best bet. All right. Monday Night Football last night, it was a dud of a game. The Seahawks defeat the Vikings 21-7. Vikings scored that garbage time touchdown late to make it a two-score game. As the Seahawks improve, the 8-5 Minnesota drops to 6-1. And it was literally 6-0 throughout a lot of the game. Vikings had several chances to take the lead. But Seattle gets big stops on fourth down. Then Kirk Cousins throws a bad pick six, and that literally put the game away. College basketball. Wasn't a big slate yesterday. Dartmouth defeats Sacred Heart 82-73 as Dartmouth improves to 6-5. Sacred Heart 4-6. Maine defeats Maine Machias 98-43. Maine is now 2-9. Arkansas Pine Bluff defeats champion Christian 84-51 as Pine Bluff goes to 3-7. Marshall defeats Morehead State 76-64. Marshall 6-4. Morehead 3-6. Hofstra defeats Manhattan 80-50. Hofstra's 8-3. Manhattan 2-7. Pacific defeats Long Beach State 74-68. Pacific 8-4, Long Beach State 3-9. St. Mary's defeats Cal State Fullerton 81-66. St. Mary's 7-4, Cal State Fullerton 3-7. Tonight's slate isn't much bigger. Southern Miss and Millsaps at 5-6. You have South Carolina State and Liberty 7. Loyola Maryland at Maryland. Number 17 Villanova at Penn. Georgia Southern at UCF. Towson at UMBC. Albany at Yale. UMass Lowell, St. Francis, Brooklyn. Charleston Southern at number 23, Furman. 7:30, Little Rock hosts Miles. Louisiana Tech hosts Mississippi Valley State. 8 o'clock, NJIT at Fordham. Grambling at UL Monroe. Prairie View A&M at Louisiana. Savannah State at South Dakota State. Wisconsin Stout at Green Bay. Fisk at Jackson State. 9 o'clock, Big Ten Network, North Florida and Minnesota. Northern Colorado hosts Johnson and Wales, Colorado. 9 o'clock ESPN2, Colorado at New Mexico. Denver at Wyoming. 10:05, Sacramento State hosts Holy Names. NBA was a big slate last night. The Pacers defeat the Wizards 109-101 as the Pacers improve to 17-10. Washington drops to 11-16. Miles Turner had a good game, 26 points and 12 boards. Darren Collison had 10 points and 7 assists. Tyreek Evans had 18. Thaddeus Young had 14. Bojan Bogdanovic had 22. Off the bench, Domantas Sabonis had 11. The 76ers defeat the Pistons 116-102. Sixers 19-9. Detroit 13-12. Joel Embiid had 24 points. Ben Simmons had 18. JJ Redick had 13. And off the bench, T.J. McConnell, 14, and Furkan Korkmaz, 18. Andre Drummond had 21 with 17 boards. Reggie Jackson had 15. Luke Kennard had 28. Jose Calderon had 11. The Celtics defeat the Pelicans, 113-100. Boston, 16-10. New Orleans, 14-15. A lot of key guys for Boston were out, and they still find a way to win. That's credit to Brad Stevens and his staff. Marcus Morris had 31. Jason Tatum had 21. Terry Rozier had 10. Samuel Jalei had 11. Jaylen Brown had 19 off the bench. Anthony Davis had 41. Julius Randle had 20. The Kings defeat the Bulls 108-89. Sacramento 14-12, Chicago 6-22. De'Aaron Fox had 25. Amon Shumpert and Buddy Hield each had 14. Willie Cauley-Stein had 11. Marvin Bagley had 16 off the bench. Bojan Bogdanovic had 16 off the bench. Lauri Markkanen had 13. Zach LaVine had 19. The Bucks defeat the Cavs 108-92. Bucks 18-8, Cleveland 6-21. Eric Bledsoe had 20. Malcolm Brogdon had 18. Giannis did not play in this game due to a sore neck. Brook Lopez had 12. Chris Middleton had 16. Sterling Brown off the bench had 12. Tristan Thompson had 12. Colin Sexton had 15. Matthew Dellavedova had 11 off the bench. Larry Nance Jr. had 16 off the bench. The Thunder defeat the Jazz 122-113. OKC is 17-8. Utah 13-15. Paul George, 31 points. Jeremy Grant had 13. Steven Adams had 22. Russell Westbrook had 12 points with 11 boards and 10 assists. Off the bench, Dennis Schroeder had 23. Donovan Mitchell had 19. Ricky Rubio had 10. Rudy Gobert had 13. Derek Favors had 12. Jay Crowder off the bench had 13. And also off the bench, Ekpe Udoh had 10. The Mavericks defeat the Magic 101-76. Dallas is 14-11. Orlando 12-15. Harrison Barnes had 19. Luka Doncic only had 7 with 9 assists and 11 boards. Jalen Brunson had 17. Wesley Matthews had 10. Dwight Powell had 16. Aaron Gordon had 10. Jonathan Simmons had 18. The Nuggets defeat the Grizzlies 105-99. Nuggets 18-9. Grizzlies 15-11. Nikola Jokic had 27 points. Jamal Murray had 16. Mason Plumlee had 12. Monte Morris had 20 off the bench. Mike Conley had 19. Off the bench, Sheldon Mack had 14. Amari Caspi had 12. And Jermichael Green had 13. The Clippers defeat the Suns 123-119 in overtime. The Clippers are 17-9. Phoenix 4-23. Tobias Harris had 33. Daniel Gallinari had 25. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 16. Trevor Ariza had 12. Mikal Bridges had 19. Mikal Bridges. DeAndre Ayton had 20 with 12 boards. D'Anthony Melton had 13. Off the bench, Rashado Holmes had 19. Josh Jackson had 18. Troy Daniels had 10. The Warriors defeat the Timberwolves 116-108. Golden State 19-9. The Timberwolves 13-14. Stephen Curry had 38. Kevin Durant had 22. Klay Thompson had 26. Off the bench, Jonas Jerebko had 10. Andrew Wiggins had 20. Karl Anthony Towns had 31. Dario Saric had 13 off the bench. Derrick Rose had 21 off the bench. And last but not least, the Lakers defeat the Heat 108-105 in what was LeBron James and Kevin Durant's final game against one another. Lakers 17-10. Miami 11-15. Kyle Kuzma 33 points with 7 boards. LeBron James 28 points, 12 assists, 19 boards. Lonzo Ball had 10. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope off the bench had 11. Justice Winslow off the bench had 28 points. He was excellent in that game. Dwayne Wade off the bench had 15. Kelly Olynyk off the bench had 15. Starters, meanwhile, Rodney McGruer and Josh Richardson each had 10, and Bam Adebayo had 12. Tonight's slate, only 3 games, 8 o'clock NBA TV, Trailblazers Rockets, 8:30 Suns Spurs, and 10:30 NBA TV, Raptors Clippers. Only 4 games in hockey last night. The Penguins defeated the Islanders 2-1 in the shootout as the Penguins go to 13-10-6. Islanders dropped to 14-11-4. Number 1 star of the game with 23 saves on 24 shots, Robin Lehner. Number 2 star of the game, 25 saves on 26 shots, Casey DeSmith. Number 3 star of the game with the game-tying goal to help force overtime, Derek Brassard. The Lightning defeat the Rangers 6-3. Lightning 24-7-1. Rangers 14-13-3. Number 1 star of the game with a hat trick, Steven Stamkos. Number 2 star of the game with 2 goals, Kevin Hayes. Number 3 star of the game with a goal, Ryan McDonough. The Red Wings defeat the Kings 3-1. Detroit 14-13-4. LA 11-19-1. Number 1 star of the game with 42 saves on 43 shots, Jimmy Howard. Number 2 star of the game with a goal, Dylan Larkin. Number 3 star of the game with a goal, Dennis Chowalski. The Sharks defeat the Devils 5-2. The Sharks go to 16-11-5. Devils drop to 10-13-6. Number 1 star of the game with 2 goals, Timo Meier. Number 2 star of the game with a goal and assist, Joe Pavelski. Number 3 star of the game with the goal, Radim Simek. Tonight's slate is a little bigger. 7 o'clock, Coyotes, Bruins, Kings, Sabres, Maple Leafs, Hurricanes, Canucks, Blue Jackets, 7:30, Red Wings, Capitals. That's NBCSN. I think the Capitals will win that game going away. I don't think the Red Wings are very good, and they're on the second of a back-to-back. 8 o'clock, Panthers, Blues, Senators, Predators, Canadians, Wild, Blackhawks, Jets, and 9 o'clock, Oilers, Avalanche. Next up, I'm doing Guess the Lines for NFL Week 15. Some of these guesses were simple, and others were not. First up, Thursday night, the Chargers at the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs laying 3.5. The Chiefs are laying 3. The Texans at the Jets. I have Texans -6. Texans are laying 6.5. The Browns at the Broncos. I have the Broncos by 6.5. I went in the Vegas zone, and the Broncos are only laying 3.5. That's curious. The Cardinals at the Falcons. I have the Falcons by 6. Falcons are laying 9. That's lunacy. Lions at the Bills. I have the Lions by 2. The Bills are laying 2. The Packers at the Bears. I have the Bears by 6. The Bears are laying 4. Raiders at the Bengals. I have it as a pick'em. The Bengals are laying 3. The Cowboys at the Colts. I have the Colts by 1.5. The Colts are laying a solid 3. I have the Vikings by 7 over the Dolphins, and the Vikings are laying 8. The Titans at the Giants. I have the Giants by 1. I was going to say 2.5, but I'm like, I don't think they'd go that high. But the Giants I have laying 1. And guess what? I should have stuck with my original guess. The Giants are laying 2.5. The Redskins at the Jaguars. I have the Jags by 3. The Jags are laying 7. That's too much. The Buccaneers at the Ravens. I have the Ravens by 6. Ravens are laying 8. The Seahawks at the 49ers. I have the Seahawks by 5. The Seahawks are laying 4.5. The Patriots at the Steelers. I have Pats by 3. No line because of the status of, I guess, Ben Roethlisberger, and then obviously James Conner, who I don't think is playing. Eagles at the Rams. I have the Rams by 6. The Rams are laying 8.5. That's too high. Saints at the Panthers. I have the Saints by 5.5. The Saints are laying 6.5. I did pretty well there with a couple close calls. I didn't hit any of them exact. Some news and notes from the MLB winter meetings. Tyson Ross signed with the Tigers on a 1-year deal. Let's see how he does. Maybe he's trade bait mid-season. Billy Hamilton to the Royals. This makes sense. The Royals like those speedy guys. And maybe he's trade bait mid-season too if they're out of it, which they will be. And big news yesterday is that Brian Cashman made a comment regarding Bryce Harper. Somebody asked him if he was interested, and he said, I have 6 outfielders, and I wouldn't want him to play first base. So that he's basically admitting right there, as you would think, that he was out on Bryce Harper. That's just devastating because you're the Yankees. You pretty much shedded payroll for this free agent class, specifically Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, and you basically admit you're not interested in the best one of the two. And I think Harper's unequivocally the best one of the two. To me, he just hasn't hit his ceiling yet. And I just think it's lunacy that they are basically taking themselves out of the Derby, but you never know. In 2008, they said they weren't interested in Mark Teixeira, and then they ended up getting Mark Teixeira. But the Yankees have been operating under this new cheap way, and They have themselves a self-composed budget. They trade for Giancarlo Stanton last year because the Marlins took on some of the salary. And fans out there are thinking that they don't want to win. Trust me, they do want to win, or else they don't make trades for James Paxton and Zach Britton mid-season last year. Well, I mean James Paxton this offseason. They don't make the Giancarlo Stanton trade last year if they were not trying to win. I do think they're trying to win. But they have this self-composed budget that they have to stay. It's like cap space in the NBA all of a sudden. You're the New York Yankees. You're supposed to be signing big free agents and overpaying in trades. Speaking of overpaying in trades, there's a report out last night that the Yankees are involved in a three-way deal in which the Mets would land JT Realmuto and in which the Yankees would land a Mets pitcher. It has to be Jacob deGrom or Noah Syndergaard, or else the Yankees better not do that deal. I think Zach Wheeler is overrated. He had a good second half last year, but he ain't that good. He's no Syndergaard and he's no deGrom. And in the Yankee rotation, he would be better than J Happ if they were to bring back J Happ, per se. But what Wheeler would be the number 4 guy in the Yankee rotation. He's better than J Happ, but he's not what you want. You want big things. You want Syndergaard. You want a deGrom. You want the trade for Corey Kluber or Madison Bumgarner. Trevor Bauer, I'm not the biggest fan of because I just don't think he's that great. He's not as good as Corey Kluber, per se. And I like Trevor Bauer a lot. He had a great year last year, and he was great the year before, too. But there's something about him. He's in a contract year next year. He's very open-minded, and he runs his mouth. There's just something about him that I just don't like about him. And, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And there's speculation that Miguel Andujar could be in this trade. But listen, Miguel Andujar is only in this trade if the Yankees are going to land Noah Syndergaard or Jacob deGrom, or else Andujar's off the table for the Mets. And I think it's just wishful thinking by Mets people in the media saying that Miguel Andujar can be involved. But here's the other thing. Miguel Andujar can be involved, and that puts the Yankees as the front runners to sign Manny Machado. Although if the Yankees were to sign Manny Machado and keep Miguel Andujar, you play him at shortstop until Didi Gregorius comes back. Then you move Machado to third and you put Andujar at first base. So those were the rumors coming out of the winter meetings. And then the other one being that there's a mystery owner flying in to meet with Bryce Harper. There's speculation that could very well be New York's Jeff Wilpon. That would be crazy. I don't think the Mets have a chance at signing Bryce Harper, because they have outfielders, and unless they trade one of them in a potential package for Realmuto. But I've never seen the Mets give out boatloads of cash to a big-name free agent like this before. I know Jason Bay, it was a flop. Beltran worked out for them a long time ago, but I just don't see them signing Bryce Harper. Last but not least, I'm going to do my best bet of the day. I won big yesterday with the bet with the NBA team. 76ers, Pacers, Celtics, Bucks, Thunder, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors. I hit on that. I won $7.94. So, and then I hit on a couple other small parlays I made yesterday too, which leads to the biggest parlay in Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast Best Bet history. And I'm going to take the San Antonio Spurs over the Phoenix Suns, along with 7 college teams. I didn't want to risk putting in an NHL game, and I didn't do it yesterday, although I probably should have, or else it would have won me more money. I'm going to take Yale, Furman, UCF, UMBC, Villanova, Louisiana Lafayette, and Minnesota. It's plus 151. I'm wagering $8.10 with a payout of $20.33. And that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping what's going on in the winter meetings, NBA, NHL, college basketball, and I'll do my NFL power rankings as well. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.